Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm very excited about this webinar. We're gonna go over 6 marketing tools in 60 minutes, so we're gonna give you more than just the basics of 6 very important marketing tools that you should know as a marketer or as somebody who is kickstarting their digital marketing career. So just to give you a little background about myself, my name is Richard, and I'm the CEO and founder of Vbout.com. We're a full suite marketing automation platform. So anybody who's starting out a small marketing campaign, simply doing email and social media, they could actually use Vbout. Or if you're doing a full-blown A to Z marketing from landing pages, lead capture, tracking, analytics, email automation, and so on, you can also use our platform. So we are built for marketers. Anybody who's really looking for multi-channel marketing, we are the right tool for them. Now, when I'm not building my startup and building Vbout, I'm actually very active at the NYC meetups, communities. We have a nice community of around 5,000 marketers. We do every month workshops and sessions that teaches people how to become better marketers. So we take that education, we format it, we present it in form of webinars, courses, slides, videos, and so on. So we do work really hard on getting these presentations over to you. More about myself, I actually enjoy working with startups. I enjoy forming teams. My hobbies are soccer, swimming, and I'm addicted to chocolate. That's one of the things that keep me going, and probably I should work on fixing that habit, or maybe decreasing my chocolate consumption. Now, we work on getting these slides over to you, and it's actually not as simple as it looks. It's a collection of effort between all the team members. So between myself, Audrey, our marketing director at Vbout, we also have our graphics team who put together beautiful slides and imagery, formatting, and also people who do the research and so on. So I would like to thank Jay, I would like to thank Mel, George, who also worked in the background in getting this presentation to you. So to get over the content here, we are going to cover 6 different tools. We have email marketing, automation, social media, lead scoring, landing pages, and analytics. So it's a very packed session. The way we're going to do it, we're going to spend 10 minutes on each. So as you can see, it's a lot of stuff. So it's a solid 60 minutes. And we're going to go over the basics, intros, some tips and stats, and then I'll jump into the tools. So I'll show you how this works in real life application. Alright, so let's get started with email marketing. So a lot of people think, and there's this rumor saying that email is dying, email is not the right tool to do marketing, and I really say you're wrong. Yearly spend from big companies are actually increasing year by year. One of the best tools that brings you, or one of the best return on your investment, is proven to be from email marketing. Just because you are in direct communication with the person's inbox, people are still checking their email, and people are still opening those emails that have their interest. Click on the link, go to your website, maybe make a purchase, or you can nurture them through the whole process. So again, email is still one of the best ROI tools. It's easy to use. It's one of those first marketing techniques that marketers deployed, and it's still getting better and better every year. So this is a quick stat for you. Over 75% of email revenue is generating by triggered campaigns. So that's done by the Epsilon Email Institute. Now, I'm going to go over some of the tips and things that we've learned and we've deployed, so you guys can actually get started with at least these important points when creating email campaigns. The first point I'd like to share is making sure your email campaigns and templates are responsive. So when you're creating your designs and your newsletters, no matter if they're basic or they're actually very pretty with designs and so on, make sure they are responsive. More than 53% of your users are actually reading your emails via their phone. And I'm pretty sure most of you have done so as well. So maybe you're riding on the bus, or you're waiting in a room, or perhaps you just wake up in the morning. The first thing you do, you open up your phone, you start checking up your emails. So of course, this is how trends are moving. Most of the interactions are happening from phones. It doesn't matter if you're running your business email or your personal. People do check their emails through their phone, so make sure they're responsive. Always use sharing inside your emails, so allow people to actually share your emails via their LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, and as you can see, WhatsApp is also a new addition that we added to Vbout, where you can through your phone, one click, share the email campaign with your visitors. With your friends on WhatsApp. Definitely include a link to web version of your email. Most email tools allow you to do so, just in case somebody's having trouble viewing or rendering images on their phone or on their computer. They could click on the web version and definitely preview your email in their web browser. Using pre-headers is also important. If you're not familiar what pre-headers are, I'm gonna show you actually what how you can configure them. They're very simple. It's just a one line that you can input when you're configuring your campaigns, and it shows normally it shows under the subject line. So when you send out an email and people are looking at your subject line, there's normally two lines underneath it that describe a little bit about their email. This is important. It increases your open rate, and it's proven to do so. And because it's easy to set up, why not do it, right? Alright, so coming back to our presentation, always keep your subject lines less than 50 characters, just because they're not going to fit on all screen sizes. They're going to get cut off. So don't put long subject lines that are going to not be seen, and that's going to decrease your open rate for sure. You can use emojis inside your subject lines. You test it out. It's been used more often these days. We're putting smiley face or a cloud or something like that inside the subject line. People tend to it tends to make your email stand out a little bit. This is a link that we've shared with you here, so you can see the best techniques for writing email subject lines. Personalizing your email campaigns is definitely a must. So if you're collecting names, first name and last name from your users, this is relevant information, right? So when you're sending out emails to 50,000 people, including that, hi first name, hi, whatever your company means much to us, the company name and so on. This could mean a lot to the user. Although they know it's an email campaign, they know it's an automated processes, but it still give you that personal touch that you actually took the time to inject their email inside the body, their name inside the body. Personalizing your subject line. So nowadays you can actually put the name of the person within the subject line. This is also a good thing to try out. And putting your unsubscribe on the bottom of each email, we actually force that. So if the user does not include it, we force it just because email clients are expecting it. You will be scored higher as a spam if you do not include it. So we definitely want you to be spam compliant, and we recommend you to include it. Use a spam grader tool. Most email clients has it. I know Vbout, we have a very simple to use spam grader. You just click on a button, it evaluates your email, and it tells you, for instance, okay, you have these keywords you need to remove. This is the final score. You definitely want to revise some of your keywords a little bit. This is a little bit techy. You can ask your email service provider to check on your SPF and DKIM records. These are things you can set up at the domain level. It definitely helps your deliverability. So when you're sending out emails, there's some sort of authentication that happens in the background. So these records could be very important in increasing your deliverability rate. We definitely encourage you to speak to your email provider to see if you can do something to improve it. If you're working with Vbout, you're definitely in good hands. We help you set that up. We help you check on those records to make sure you increase deliverability. So using A/B testing, a lot of people are actually afraid of using A/B testing in email because they think it's a lot of work, it's difficult to set up, but I think it's the total opposite. I will show you in a second how we can set A/B testing campaigns in a matter of seconds. but it's incredibly helpful in determining the effectiveness of your campaign. So if you want to see how you can improve your click-through rates, you want to increase your conversion, A/B testing is the right way to go. Definitely sending emails at the right time. Every demographics, every purpose for a campaign might be more effective at certain times of the day. I mean, we tried to compile a quick infographic that shows you how or the best times that you should be sending out emails or whatever on social media, posting on social media to increase your open and your interactions. So this is the last part for the email marketing email marketing best practices, is to use the right amount of capture forms. So if you have these embedded forms on your site and you're collecting first name, last name, email, most marketers or people who started marketing, they actually want to collect so much data. And this is a big problem because a lot of people don't want to give so much data, which triggers high bounce rates of your forms. So if you want to deploy a form, we definitely recommend using first name, maybe a last name. If you want to get the company name, if that's relevant to you, and the email. Okay, if you want to go a little bit beyond and do phone and other things, that's good. But again, each field you add to your form can have an effect on your bounce rate. And at the end, looking at your analytics to measure the performance of your campaign. This is definitely a must. We actually created a very good resource for you if you want to click here, and you can check out how to measure the effectiveness of your campaigns. So we're going to be referring to the word KPI, which is the key performance indicators, a lot throughout our presentations and webinars. So I definitely recommend you keep that word in mind. Alright, so I'm going to move on to show you a little bit about the tool and the email marketing in application. Let's just get started. So for instance, at Vbout, we do send a lot of emails to our clients, different lists. So we've segmented our contacts into those who are who want to receive emails from us, those who are clients, those who are actually subscribed and never continued our trial period. So we do work pretty well with segmentation. And this all starts with your email list. So I'm not going to go through all the details of how you can create a list and import it, but I just want to show you real quick how campaigns are being created and sent. So for instance, this is a sample table of things we've sent out. You can see multilingual here. The subject lines, we try to keep them short and start directly with the purpose. So for instance, this is a webinar, so we made sure that people know from the subject line that this is a webinar. These are some of our A/B testing campaigns we sent out. Like this one, for instance, we're exploring with different subject lines, and the one that won at that day was this particular one. So you can see the results are easy to look at. You can look at how many people we sent it to, how many opened, and how many actually clicked on it. Okay. Some of the stats that we collect as well. Obviously there's a lot of metrics we do collect. So I highly recommend looking at your open rate, click-through rate, conversion rate, which we can set that up through Vbout, is tie in your email to a particular conversion, and also your unsubscribe to see if your lists are healthy. We also check email engagement to see how long people are reading your emails. So if you're composing very long with text-intensive emails, which we do not recommend, but you want to see if people are getting really reading through the whole content, this is a good way to do it. Obviously other things we track, like open rate, click-through, how many shares, unsubscribe, open by location, email, and so on. So these are some of the metrics you can dig deeper if you're doing, if you want to look at email performance. Some of the stuff also that I wanted to cover are A/B testing and how you can set that up, and then we can move to the next tool. So let's assume that I'm creating a brand new campaign. I have a lot of different options for A/B testing, so I just activated it, for instance. I can test subject lines. I can test email senders. I can test from name, meaning maybe I want to send it from Rich at Vbout, or I want to send it from support at Vbout. So I want to see which one of those work better. I can definitely test the different content within the body of the email. Okay, so let's assume it's different content. I'm going to click next. So these are our actual samples. We're taking 3 samples here. So we take sample A, sample B. These are going to be our test samples. And then this is the remainder of our audience or target. So what we do, we send 15%, which is sample A, one version. We send the other 15%, sample B, the second version. And then we determine what's the winning version. This could be things like open rate, meaning if version A opened more emails than version B, that could be the winner. Or it could be click-through rates, how many people clicked on the email, and a few other options here like how long they read it and the conversion rate on this. So if I come back to that, so we sent 15% version A, for instance, one subject line, version B, the other subject line, and we wait for a little bit, maybe 2 hours. Let's, you can define that here. And after 2 hours, the system automatically captures the results. The 70% remaining will actually receive that winning version. Very simple to set up, not hard at all. And if you never used it, I highly recommend you actually give it a shot. It takes a couple of minutes to do, and nothing to lose really. So that's email in a nutshell. I'm gonna move forward to the next tool. All right, email automation or automation. So a lot of people are actually hearing about it. I think automation is one of the things that that's going to continue to grow a lot, exponentially, because more and more people are seeing the value. A lot of education around it, and also it's become much easier to deploy and use for smaller marketing agencies and marketing teams. Before, it used to be deployed by larger marketing agencies because it required a lot of resources, expensive tools. But now with things like Vbout, it's very easy for you to deploy a marketing automation campaign, and you don't have to deploy bulky systems, consultants, and so on. So here's a quick stats for you. 95% of companies using marketing automation are taking advantage of email marketing. And marketing automation is simply a layer that sits on top of your email and your communications that kind of wait for triggers to do a particular action. It doesn't require you to be on standby, sending emails or sending things based on the different user interactions. Alright, so how do you get started? A lot of companies who speak to us ask us, alright, I want to do automation. What do I do? How do I get started? Obviously getting organized with 2 things. One of them is your content. If you want to do marketing automation, I really recommend you have the right content, whether it's blog posts that you have written and compiled on your blog. It could be other resources like infographics, slide shares, whatever it is, the rich content you have. I definitely advise you to organize them in form of communication channels. So it could be like an email campaign and a link to a blog post. It could be a case study and a link to that case study on your site, etc., etc. Once you've organized your content, the next thing you need to do is to figure out what is the type of automation you're trying to deploy. Obviously, people say automation and that's it, but actually it's much more than that. There's a little bit of planning that goes behind it, and it comes down to a simple draw board. So, if you want to deploy, let's say, an onboarding email sequence, what you can do is say, alright, when somebody actually sign up to my email list, what I would like to do is send them a follow-up email after 2 days, then another follow-up email after 5 days, and maybe I would like to move them to another list, and etc. Right? And you can put in conditions like if they opened the email, what do I do? If they didn't open the email, what do I do? So all these different things, you start with the drawing board, and then based on it, you qualify or you actually place your content in these different communication triggers, and you set it up on your platform, whether it's Vbout or something else. So again, drawing this process initially on a piece of paper, on a whiteboard, or within the tool is very helpful in you figuring out what is the automation you're trying to deploy. So certain things that you can do are like birthday reminders. which you get an email on your birthday automatically or a text message. Potentially doing mass onboarding. So people who are using the system or signing up, you want to send them a series of 5 emails teaching you how to use the platform. These are some of the automation types, and we've compiled a very nice blog post that actually talks about that. So feel free to click on here and read up a little bit more about it. Defining your triggers and filters, which I will cover in a second, to determine who's your audience, target audience, what are the actions that are going to be triggered, and so on. Other pointers I would like to share is the same personalization you use for email campaigns, you can definitely use them for automation, like including the person's first name, the company name, or whatever. Don't create too many workflows that might overlap. We actually fell into this trap and we created a lot of automations. So some clients started getting duplicates, and that caused a little bit of chaos internally. So I really advise you to keep about 3 to 5 different workflows happening at the same time. More than that, you definitely need a little bit more resources and time to manage them. If you have the time, great. If not, just keep it between 3 and 5. I think 3 and 5 are manageable. You can fine-tune them and measure them effectively. Alright, so linking automation to your site opt-in forms. So if you have those pop-ups and you have those call to actions and you have those different things on the website, it's definitely smart for you to set up an automation on your platform and then link it to those opt-in forms on your site. When somebody actually gives you their email and they tell you, please send me data, this is a very intimate moment between you and them. They're giving you that permission. Take advantage of it. Send them series of content. Make sure it's good content. You don't want to be sending pushy sales stuff. People see that right away, and they will opt out. If you're sending them good stuff, they will stay. And continue reading your content, engage with you. You can nurture them through the process, and of course, if they don't like it, easily they can subscribe by using those unsubscribe links I recommended you always include. And creating multi-channel, multi-directional automation. Using just email is not enough. You definitely can involve text messaging. You can involve moving contacts from one part of the automation to another part, dumping them into your CRM system. So there's a lot of stuff that could happen in the background. And as you get more sophisticated as a marketer and bigger as an organization, you're gonna see that you will need that type of multi-directional and automation. It can start with the easy stuff, and little by little, once you master it, you will see that it's going to increase. So marketing automation overall is a very in high demand. There's a lot of need for marketing automation experts. So I really think I have a lot of passion for marketing automation. I advise everybody on this call, and I advise everyone I meet to learn it, master it, because you can get paid a lot of money deploying it for these bigger companies. So I'm going to show you quickly how a sample marketing automation that we use on Vbout. Let's close out some of those browsers. Alright, so this is a simple one that I redeployed. It's an ebook download. So these are my triggers that are available to me. So I can say if somebody opened an email, click the campaign, specific date, it could be today, yesterday, New Year's Eve, whatever. Signing up to an email list or an opt-in form, and goals being achieved, which I will cover in the next few minutes. These are your KPIs. So if you can say, if somebody reaches my website and stays for 5 minutes, if somebody fills out a form and watches a video. So this could be a goal that people achieve, and then based on it, you can trigger an automation. So that's very important. These are some other stuff like choosing your lists. These are filters you can use. So if you want to match certain criteria, like only the people who has a Gmail, or perhaps maybe their sign-up date was on a particular date. So you can get really sophisticated with this if you want to get to the matching rules side of things. This is where you build out your actions and workflows. So here, for instance, 1 minute later, I'm sending them a welcome email and a download link. 2 days later, I'm sending them a very good ebook follow-up that we spent a lot of time putting together. 3 days later, another one, and you can see the sequence being built out. And there's a lot of things that you can do here. So you can build out additional actions every time. So not only I can send them an email, I can also move them to different contact lists. I can remove them from contact lists. I can even update some of their values inside fields and things. And we have a lot of new things coming up we're adding to the system, where you can actually send SMS, you can tag them on social media, you can do a lot of that stuff automatically. So again, these are the type of things that you can do with automation, and obviously the sky is the limit. So soon enough we're going to have a drag and drop whiteboard that you can actually draw your workflow and you can deploy it automatically. But this is a quick sample that you can use. And again, we've shared a resource for you on some of the marketing automations that you can actually think about, like onboarding, reactivation, birthday reminders, and so on. Alright, back to our presentation. And now we move to social media. So, obviously social media is critical in our lives. Everybody use it. It doesn't matter who. Actually, my grandmother is on social media. She recently activated her Facebook. So you can see it's reaching more and more people on a daily basis, right? It touches our lives. We engage with it even when we don't want to, on our vacation days, when we're just winding down in the backyard. We always interact with social media somehow. So this is why it's very, very important as a business owner or as a marketer to use social media marketing. Alright, so quick stats for you. 90% of young adults age 18 to 29 use social media, compared to 35% of those over 35. Fully a third of millennials say social media is one of their preferred channels of communications with business. So you can get found easily on social media via other means. And to give you an example, half of our webinar attendees, for instance, came through some of our content we've shared on Facebook, others on Twitter. So it definitely helps, and it gets you signups, it gets you leads, it gets you people, engagement, and so on. So it's very important. So of course the first thing when you're getting started is which channels you wanna set up. There's a lot of options out there. Defining your goals will help you choose those channels. So if you're a B2B business, LinkedIn could be a very good choice for you. Twitter, Facebook, depends. Your consumer product, maybe Instagram is a good channel for you. If you're targeting the female demographics, Pinterest could be a great source of traffic. So again, defining your business purposes will help you define your channels. And these are things that are really hard to measure. So even if you're a B2B, you can be using some of the other channels, but you have to be wise about how you use it. So for instance, if you check out our Instagram for Vbout, you will see that we are not very active on it. However, we made it more of a front-end presentation for our products offering. So it's definitely something you should consider. Let me see if I can share that with you real quick. Instagram Vbout. Because we didn't think our target audience will actually engage with us, so we just decided to use it as a front end, and we're actually getting some good following, which is surprising, and we get a lot of compliments on it. So again, defining your business purposes, playing around with these things, and figuring out which one works for you could definitely be helpful. So the second thing is enhancing your profile. A lot of people, and I'm really surprised and shocked by this, is I see people doing marketing and their social media profiles look like crap. So they really have very minimal information about their company. They have very crappy background profile image. This is really I can't explain how annoying I get, how annoyed I get when I see that stuff. It's available to you. I mean, why not use it? Why not create a nice background photo on your profile and tell people what you do? Why not fill out your about us information and show people your product offering? Where is your phone number? Filling up your sign up, so you can create those call to action buttons on social media now. So I really think that people should take a little bit of time to enhance these. Typically we help our clients, we give them some advice and things about what to do, but there's tons of resources that you can actually use to fine-tune and enhance how your social media channels look. And not to forget to mention is that this helps SEO, your SEO overall, because people use Facebook as a search engine, they use Twitter as a search engine, Instagram as a search engine. So filling out those details about yourself can definitely help. Okay, moving forward to further stats and tips. Also setting up your editorial calendar. So once you've created your profiles, you defined which channels, created your profiles. Now you need to start organizing your content. 86% of marketers reuse and recycle content. So if they have blog posts, if they have infographics, they take those that meaty stuff and they cut it down into smaller posts and they publish it on their social media channels. It's very simple to use. Sometimes you don't have to reinvent and come up with content on a regular basis. You can simply recycle your content from the different channels you have. Now, how do you get the right following? A lot of people get a start and they say, "Oh, I barely have any likes on Facebook. I barely have any followers on Twitter." And it's a challenge. Every business have that challenge of getting their initial followers. But it's actually as simpler than you think. You can always start with your current followers, friends, colleagues, coworkers, anyone who's in your circle. You can send an invite and say, "Hey, I just started this entity. I'm really looking for people to engage with my page. If you can simply like it or share it, I would appreciate it." That simple gesture of reaching out and asking for courtesy, people are on these channels. They will like you, they will share, and if they don't, it's fine, but you'll definitely get some initial engagement there. And thereafter, if you continue posting the good stuff, they will definitely share it and spend more time with you. Boosting your pages initially could help. We actually boosted our pages when we first started them. Some pages were obviously cost more to boost depending on the audience, the keywords, what are you trying to do. So I would say allocate a budget $100 to $200 to test this out and see if this will get you some non-circle, I would call them non-friends likes, and see the quality of the engagement. Maybe it gets you the right engagement, maybe it doesn't. Or what you can do, if you want, you can boost posts within your page instead of boosting the whole page. What that does is people start liking those posts, and once they do, you can send them an invite, because liking a post could be cheaper than liking a page. Okay, you'll figure this out if you Google a little bit on hacking your Facebook ads and so on. Alright, continuing more with social media, posting your links on your website is definitely recommended. You have your highest asset, which is your front pages. Putting those links on the footer, on the header, or even a sticky bar on your site, telling people you have those channels active will get you followers. It doesn't take up much real estate. It's easy to set up. Also, don't be monotone, trying to change your tone of voice and have a mix between funny posts, engaging questionnaires, informative data. We actually fell into this pattern of just sharing very good content, but we realized soon enough maybe we should really change up our tone every once in a while, and talk about different things. Maybe post something funny, engage people, and of course we're learning as we go what works for us and how to fine tune it. So your content lives on for 17 minutes on social media, which comes back to our the recycle idea. Is the same posts you posted maybe last month, you can take them and repost them on social media. 17 minutes is a very short time. So if you want, you can have a policy of saying, all right, only 30-day-old content will be recycled. So those who engaged with the content, maybe they'll see it again, which is fine. Those who did not will get the chance to see it, and this is how you can increase exposure to old content you've had. Choosing the right time to post on social media, and I showed you the infographics we had. So you can actually click on this link here, and it will take you to the infographic. It tells you a little bit about the best times of the day to post on different social media channels. So coming back also to the KPI, which I briefly mentioned before, your key performance indicators. What are the things you need to look at when you're looking at your social analytics? Obviously, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all these, you can find a lot of analytics on your engagement. So what I recommend, and because you're very limited on your time, is to choose what you want to look at. For instance, you can look at your followers and your engagement for Facebook. You can also look for engagement on Twitter and see how much people are retweeting and favoriting your stuff, which also is called engagement. So I think engagement is the first metric I look for. Increase on followers and fans is the second metric I look for. If you want to get deeper into demographics, male versus female, that's something also you can measure, so you can tailor your content accordingly. Experimenting with video could be helpful. Videos are seeing more and more views. More and more channels are offering support for it. It's very easy to do it on video. Autoplay is a huge thing. So experiment with video, see if it's the right thing for you. Alright, so I'm gonna jump into the tool real quick to see to show you how we manage our social media. Alright, close up some of those browsers. So for instance, this is our editorial calendar. You can see we have a lot of those stuff that were posted already. This is a mix of email, social media at the same time, and things that are scheduled for the future. So coming back to our posting capabilities here, we can type in the message. So I can say, attend our webinar. Tracking URLs that you share is highly recommended. You want to see which channel is triggering the most clicks, right? So for us, with us, for example, we actually check how many clicks each post got, which was the channel that was the most successful in getting us those clicks. So it's easy to look at it. If you use that tracker link, simply paste your URL here, and we actually take care of the rest. So you track it. We take that and we start giving you those results on the link track page. Attaching media is a no-brainer. Every post is worth 100 times more if you have an image attached to it. There's a lot of imagery you can get online, whether from Pixabay, which is free, Photodune, which is very cheap, $1 per image, or you can create your own graphics if that's your thing. Here you can choose the channels you want to post to. So we offer posting to multiple channels at the same time, but what I do recommend is trying to differentiate your content a little bit if you're posting, for instance, to Facebook versus Twitter. So on Twitter, using hashtags is important. People might be looking, for instance, for the hashtag webinar on Twitter. So if you use hashtags for Twitter, it could get you better visibility. And I definitely recommend kind of changing up that content a little bit between posting on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, scheduling sometime in the future or posting items at the moment is available through here. So this is how we manage our stuff. Because I do have a lot of profiles that I manage, I try to put them all in one place and manage them. So there's many tools that offer it. Buffer, Hootsuite. We actually integrated it into our platform. So on here, I see all my channels. I can follow people, unfollow. I can see the comments. I can reply back to them. So it's really important for me not to waste so much time logging in and out and replying to people. So this allows me to do that. And because it's integrated with the posting, it's easy for me to do. Okay. Now we do have our social analytics. So if you want to whip out some reports, I'll show you some of the metrics that I look for. For example. Just give it a second here. Alright, so for instance, what I look for always is the engagement, to see how much engagement I've received. Also, how many page likes and the progression of that over time. There's other things I look at, like the metrics, people, age breakdown. So we let you look at these basic metrics. If you want to get really in depth, you can do it from your channels. So you can log into Facebook and check out in-depth analytics on that stuff. All right. So moving forward, lead scoring. Lead scoring is actually one of those tools that are really interesting to me. It bridges the gap a little bit between marketing and sales. So typically, sales and marketing operate in silos. Everybody has their own thing they worry about. They don't talk or interact much. Lead scoring is a tool that marketers can set up to enhance the experience of the salespeople and deliver them better leads, right? So think of it as the salesperson sitting online behind your different actions, giving people different grades and points, and once they reach a particular threshold, they will send a notification to somebody. So I will show you how this works in a second. So 79% of marketing leads never convert into sales, so that's very important. The lack of nurture is the common cause of not closing and poor performance. So you need a way to nurture those leads. And how do you identify the prospects at the different levels of the funnel? You can obviously look at the data one by one. You can do some other things like manually separate them using different lists and so on, or alternatively you can use lead scoring. So lead scoring allow you, as I mentioned, to grade people based on the different interactions they actually take with your channel. So let's say somebody comes to your website. In my mind, I'm gonna give this guy a fictional point. So I'm gonna give him one point. If he or she watches a video, then maybe I'll give them 5 points. Now they're more interested. Now let's say they visit my pricing page, they start the sign up process. Now as you can see, they're getting more and more interested in becoming or signing up to my service, in which case I'm starting giving them higher and higher grades. So now they reach a particular threshold of 50 and I know these people are really interested, and I can take further actions from there. So identifying those highest asset actions to you. So like I mentioned, visiting my pricing page is very important. Starting the sign up process is super important because now people started to see they want to become members. Making a purchase could be another thing. So identifying those actions is where you should start. Using labels like hot leads, cold leads, warm leads, these are the traditional stuff, but you can obviously use any words or keywords that mean something to you. Now, lead scoring should be definitely integrated into your automation. So for instance, as I showed you before, I can create a filter that says if somebody reaches the score of 100, send them this follow-up email. Right? So lead scoring and automation should work simultaneously together. And of course, capture the right amount of data when you're collecting stuff from people, because you wanna personalize those automation. So I highly recommend personalizing emails. And you don't want to be collecting so much or grading on so many different things, because you might get much higher grades than you actually anticipated. So choose the most important actions to actually grade. And analyze your performance by looking at your funnel, how many people are in different levels of the funnel, etc. We've created, as I think I've shared this resource in a previous slide. You can actually see how your emails are performing by clicking on this link. Emails are interactions, actually. So once you visualize your funnel and you look at how much people are interested, how many people are in different levels, you can actually refine and enhance your lead scoring accordingly. So let me jump into a setup on Vbout, how we actually do lead scoring on our end. It's a very simple process. It's simpler than most people think. So this is, for instance, our pool. So if you look at it, you will see I have different color coordination statuses. You will see IP addresses. You will see actual people, actual leads being collected, and their score. So typically people start engaging with you as an anonymous, and once they give you that piece of data, that email, then you can the system, or the Vbout system, merges this information together and delivers to you one solid lead. So if I look at this particular score, okay, I can see, for instance, they received 16 emails from me. They have 176 website activities, so that's a lot of website visits. They actually reached 17 conversion pixels, which is a lot. This is their location, and this is their conversion value. So I can tie it into conversion value. Alright, so this is a good lead for me. I can actually assign this lead to somebody, or I can email them directly. Now this is how I can configure my scoring, which I mentioned to you before, is identifying the items that you'd like to score people on. So, what are the actions if you want to, score people when they spend 5 minutes on your site, right? For instance, I'm giving them 5 points. If somebody reaches my pricing page, I'm giving them time points, and I can repeat or just score them once, because repeating those the scoring might be redundant in certain cases or beneficial in another. Visiting my blog page, starting the register process, right? So these are very, very important things, so I'm giving them higher points. And you can see how I'm actually setting this up even by location. So we have a lot of things and metrics we can track, and you can grade people according to them. Okay. And because we know anonymous subscribers are not as high asset as subscribers, actual subscribers, then we can grade them either differently or the same. Right. So color coordination and the lead statuses is also an easy way to do it. You can simply say this range of score will have this type of label, and you can configure it it's extremely simple to do. And of course, this is your funnel. So looking at how many people are at different levels of the funnel is beneficial. Alright, so that's lead scoring. There's much more to it. We're probably going to have a session dedicated to that, so that's a good intro for you to get an idea on lead scoring. Alright, so landing pages. I think this is the before the last topic, then we move to analytics. So we've done a full session on landing pages, and we jumped in depth into all the different things you need to do, what kind of landing pages there are. We did some tests to see which pages perform better. Even we got down to the color psychology and described what are the colors and the contrast that you should be doing. So we have a presentation on that. I have a link to that presentation as well from these slides. Feel free to read them. Extremely, extremely important. If you're doing landing pages, I highly recommend you read it before you start your activity. So this is a stat by HubSpot. Companies see a 55% increase in leads once they increase the number of the landing pages. So the more landing pages you have, the more likely you have closed leads. And of course, your landing pages have to be relevant. Ultimately, you create a landing page for two purposes. From a business perspective, of course, if you want to generate leads, whether it's an ebook download, sign up to a webinar, or even event registration, or product sales. So product sales is selling a product, or I think an event registration is probably a good example of a product sale. So if you fall within these two types, I think you should be following our landing page tools and tips. If you want to do something pretty for yourself just to have a front end page, then that's a different story. Now the first thing we recommend is all your pages should have a clear value proposition, so people, when they land on your page, they know exactly what they're doing. Are they downloading an ebook? Are they buying a product? Are they actually signing up for a consultation? Just be very clear about what they're doing, what is the purpose of the page, and furthermore, be very clear on your CTAs, which are call to actions like buttons and things like that. You can say, click here to download. I mean, that's very expressive. People will know, for instance, they need to click to download. If you put submit, it might not mean a lot to people, and actually, copy has been proven to increase or decrease conversion rates on forms. So pay a little attention to your call to action buttons. Minimizing CTAs is important. So obviously you're going to have your forms. You're going to have maybe another button that takes you to that form. But if you want to put external links to your website and things, we highly recommend to actually minimize those or not put them at all. What I do recommend putting is maximum 3 to stay within the page, including social media. If you want to take people to your social media channels without bouncing out of the page, meaning don't create a different page when they click it, not change up the actual one you're on. And the share icons. So if you want to have them share the webinar page or your sales page, then you should definitely include those. Use professional imagery. As I mentioned before, that's not an excuse anymore. We live in an age where you can find beautiful professional images in a heartbeat. So you might be looking at either photo dunes if you really want to get high-end or good photos for $1, or if you want to use Pixabay, which is a free open source royalty-free image, which we're looking into integrating it potentially with Vbout. Now, using the proper color for backgrounds and CTAs, meaning if you're putting a green button, make sure your background behind that button is not green as well. And we have this full study that we did on clockwork conversion model. We took somebody's study and we explained to our viewers how they should use it with tests and so on. So definitely go over our landing page webinar and presentation. Minimizing the forms, if you want to have, as mentioned before, first name, last name, email, and another one, it's fine. But again, the less forms, the better. Just because people are sick and tired of actually refilling these items on a regular basis. Optimize your landing page SEO. Make sure they have the right titles and tags. It's easy to do. It takes you a minute. So might as well do it and get it right, because once you have 50 pages, it's going to be much harder for you to go in and do each page and optimize this SEO. And again, the more landing pages you have, the more leads you will close. Using social shares on your landing pages, as I mentioned, is important. You want people to be able to share your content or your, whatever is a webinar, sales page. Create a distribution process. So once you've created a page, how do you get the word out? We've actually worked really hard on getting our distribution channel together, and we're still making it better as we speak. So, we figured maybe boosting a little bit, sharing on LinkedIn groups, sharing to our email channel, and perhaps doing a little bit of outreach to our friends and meetups was a great way for us to kind of increase our visibility and get more people to kind of be active and interact with us. But of course, we're providing very good content. We're spending hours and thousands of dollars on every piece of content. So for us, it's a long process we're putting together, and we need to get as much interest as possible. We need to give that content to the right people. So distribution is very important. Definitely spend a little bit of time and thought into getting that together for your business. Create drip campaigns from your landing pages, meaning when people sign up, what are you feeding them? Drip campaigns are what I just discussed before, marketing automation. They refer to them as the same. So setting up this email follow-up once they give you their email is important. Give them additional good content. Nurture them in your funnel. You need them to be interested. And you need to keep feeding them that stuff so you could establish that trust with the end user. A/B testing your pages, obviously it's similar to what we did with email, creating slightly different version of the same page and see which one performs better, which one converts more. And using a tool to automate all that above is important, because you're not going to have the time and the money and the resources. I mean, maybe you do, but if you're starting out and you want to be efficient about it, if you want to hire a developer, a designer, and all that, it's going to take time and money, and you might not be up for that. So use a tool. We have Unbounce, you have leads pages, and we recently launched Vbout's landing page, which was extremely powerful. All our content is we built definitely responsive. I didn't mention that, but landing pages, whatever you do them, they should be responsive. So if somebody checking their email on their phone, they're clicking on the call to action, going to your website or your landing page. If your landing page is not responsive, then you've broken the process in half, right? Continue being consistent between your email being responsive and your pages being responsive. So that's what we try to do with Vbout, and we made sure our email templates are responsive for our users, as well as our landing pages are responsive. So the chain is never broken. And as I mentioned, this is the link to our landing page presentation. So feel free to click on it and and preview the whole demo or the whole slide. I'm going to show you quickly how you can interact and put a landing page together. So for those who are skeptical and they don't have the time, landing pages are not that difficult to deploy. It's as easy as creating drag and drop. So I can simply say create a page, and every interface is different. So this is the Vbout interface. So we've created a whole bunch of templates for you. You can easily drag and drop the one that you like. So let's take this one for instance. Alright, so we took some of that stuff that we preach and we put them inside our templates. So for instance, we try to make the forms as small as possible. The colors and background, the CTAs, including certain things like videos and other call to actions. We minimize them with the social media, of course. These are important. Everything is easy to customize, so typically every landing page builder allow you to modify your content and link things where needed. With Vbout, the good thing is that all your forms are completely integrated with your with our email suite. So for instance, if I drag and drop this particular template, this email, I can automatically create a form, capture those leads right away. You don't have to integrate with a third party. You don't have to create an account on MailChimp or others because we're fully integrated. So that's one of the benefits of having one platform that does it all. Now, if you don't want to use fully ready templates, you can actually choose different blocks. So maybe I don't like that block that I just saw. I want to use this one instead, right? So I'll just remove that one, and I use this one. Maybe I want to change the background. Obviously we allow you to do that using Vbout. But customization is important. So if you want to use a tool, make sure you have the flexibility not only to use full templates, but to actually customize it for you to have the look and feel of your business. Now, talking about some of the other stuff like the settings, you might want to use your own domain name. So if you have your subdomain, you can add it here. We allow you to add one or multiple, and our team typically help our clients set up their subdomains, get the actual pointing of the domains up and working. We do have our fully integrated tracking, so we track some of the metrics. For instance, conversions, visits, and conversion rate. So these are the things you want to look at. If you want to get a little bit more in depth, you can actually look at advanced data on Vbout. So we show you how many visits throughout the day, conversion rate, where's the traffic coming from, who are the people that converted, devices, and so on. And we also have a heat map that sits on top of those landing pages. So I can actually show you where people are clicking. If you want to get that extra look and show this to your manager or to the business owner and tell them, hey, these are where people are clicking. Actually, what we're doing is working. So we provide this type of analytics and capability that allow you to measure a lot more inside your landing pages. One cool thing we did, we made our blocks dynamic, meaning if you'd like to filter a block and show it to a particular audience you have, like people coming from the US, people who opened an email before, you can segment all these different blocks according to the audience. So this is another form of testing. We call it dynamic testing versus A/B testing, because the content will not look the same for the different people visiting the page, which is pretty cool. Alright, so this is our landing page process. Let's discuss analytics, which is the last part of the presentation. So obviously, if you're not measuring, you cannot improve, and those who do not measure, for me, they're not marketers. So you definitely need to be looking at your analytics, and I come back to the word KPI, which is the key performance indicators. So 51% of Fortune 500 companies use Google Analytics. It's very easy to use and set up. It's free. Just add your domain name, take the code, and put it on your website. It's as simple as this. We made Vbout similarly easy to integrate because we have our own analytics for email, for landing pages, for KPIs, and I will show you in a second how we set up KPIs from Vbout. But using the right analytics platform is important. Typically, if a user is using more than 5 tools because they're happy, maybe they use Mailchimp for email, maybe they use Unbounce for landing pages, Hootsuite for email for analytics. For social media. They're using Google Analytics. They're using lead scoring tools, CRM tools. So now you can see it's fragmented across all these different things. So patching it together is not easy, and you're going to have decentralized analytics. In which case, you can use things like Segmentio, which is a 6 tool. It will be an additional tool that you will use to patch those different systems together and consolidate your user data, or use a complete marketing platform like Vbout that integrates with Google Analytics and we have our own. So setting up your KPIs. So for instance, all these things and items that you're doing, all these emails you're sending out, all these social media blasts you're pushing, what is the ultimate purpose? You want to increase your lead capture. You want to close more business. It's as simple as this. But in the process, there are certain things that you're going to look at. For instance, what is your bounce rate? How many visitors you have? Are they increasing, or they are still the same? What is your referral like? Are they coming from Facebook? Are they coming from Twitter? Are they coming from other referral channels? So knowing that data is very important, and setting up your KPIs is even more important. So if you want to talk about e-commerce website, making a purchase is the number one KPI you want to track, and perhaps spending a certain amount of time on certain product pages is another KPI you want to track. In our case, we like to see how long people are engaging with our content, because we create a lot of content all the time. So I have a KPI measuring people on our blog. So getting that set up is important. You can do it through Google Analytics, or you can do it through Vbout, which I will show you in a second how you can do that. Creating your funnel. So let's say you have a multi-step form sign up. Step 1 is inserting the company information. Step 2, inserting payment information. Step 3 is completing the process. So this is a 3-step funnel. You can set up funnels from Google Analytics, or you can set it up from other analytics tool. Even Vbout has it. But seeing which part of the funnel is where people are bouncing off could tell you a little bit about what to enhance and what to make better. So if you're doing some AdWords campaigns, most AdWords campaigns do have integrated conversion pixels, or they could tie into your analytics. Definitely make sure that you're measuring the effectiveness and your conversion from those paid campaigns. Otherwise, you can't measure your ROI on your spend. You use UTM links, UTM builders. If you Google it, Google has a good tool for it. UTM links are easy, maybe a little bit for advanced marketers, but it lets you identify the different links based on metrics within the URL. Right. So to give you a quick example on this, so UTM link example. Let me see. So Google have this tool that lets you do it. So at the end, they will give you something that has additional metrics. It doesn't affect where the link takes you to. It just identifies these different metrics when somebody land on your page. So you can use UTMs if you're doing those paid campaigns. So if you're doing these multi-channel marketing, you might want to focus on 3 metrics for each. Otherwise, you're going to get really overwhelmed. So on your website, for instance, you might want to look at visits, bounce rate, referral sources, and goals, which are the KPIs. In email, you might want to look at open rate, click-through rate, conversions, and unsubscribes. And for social media, you can look at fans and followers and engagements, likes, and comments. So focusing on 3 to 4, I think, is healthy. It gives you enough insights for you to improve. And again, you might need to be looking at different systems to do it, or one, depending on what you end up choosing as your marketing platform. You can use automated reporting to get updates via email, which is what we provide our clients, for instance. So, setting up these different metrics. And I think Google also has a way to alert you when certain thresholds are being met. So if you don't have the time to do it, you're a busy individual, set those metrics up, set those reminders to be automatically sent to you, and just look at them at your convenience, maybe before you go to sleep, maybe when you wake up or on the bus, whatever. And I showed you the heat map feature, which is a very cool addition. Not only you can have it on your landing pages, but you can also have it on your website. So knowing where people are moving their mouse, what things they're interacting with, is a key thing to look at. Particularly if you're working with your UX team and your design team, then you want to give them insights on how their designs are performing. So there's a lot of tools that do it. Some of them are individual tools like Newegg or Hotjar. Hotjar is very good. I like it. We have an addition for that inside Vbout, so we actually do track heat maps and mouse clicks. We integrate them with the rest of the suite, so it's a complete solution for you. Alright, and with that, I'm gonna jump real quick to show you how we actually set up those conversion pixels on Vbout, and then we can conclude our presentation. So you can see here I have a lot of different metrics that I track. So I can see, for instance, how many people are on my blog, how many came in and spent 5 minutes. So this is a good number for me. I can create different goals, and so for instance, I can give a goal name. Let's say it's time spent, and you can see the different goal types. So I can say it's a destination URL, duration spent, pages visited, events triggered, like somebody watching a video. I can actually measure that KPI and have that as a metric for me. And doing the funnels that we mentioned previously, like adding multi-step. For instance, I can say, all right, somebody coming into my pricing page, somebody going to the registration page, then maybe perhaps they're getting to the complete page, right? So I can track and measure at these different steps how many people there are and how many people have bounced and who's completing this whole process. So KPIs are super powerful, and then you can track obviously how many times these things were actually achieved across a specific period of time. Who are the demographics, conversion rate, what is the value? If you want to set that up and actually pass in the value, you can do it. Also, what is the source of traffic, referrals, and additional information that you can track. And again, depending on the system, so using a place where you can actually tie in the user subscriber data along with the email data, along with the social data, lead scoring, etc., etc. This all comes in as one full symphony that you can deploy and use and make your life much easier. So with that, we conclude our presentation for the day. If you're interested in a demo, please feel free to reach out. You can go to our website, Vbout.com. We can walk you through our system, the platform, and we have very good pricing overall. The last thing I want to mention is that we are putting together a full curriculum, digital marketing course. I don't want to say it's a curriculum, but it's a full 12 webinar course that discusses everything you need to know as a digital marketer, either you're kickstarting your career or if you are enhancing your current skill set. So we'll cover email, we'll cover social media, we'll cover branding, mobile marketing, community building. So it's going to be 10 to 12 courses that really jump into in-depth analytics, in-depth insights, research, and all the things we've learned as a team, as a marketing team, as developers, as a sales team, and so on, to create a startup that provides solutions for marketing automation. And of course, we are using ourselves as the guinea pig. So we're testing all these things, and ultimately we're sharing the things that are working for us, and we're telling you the things that don't necessarily work. So this is where you can sign up for the free digital marketing course. You can either do that, or you can go and pay a few $1,000s for a three months boot camp somewhere that will give you the same results, if not actually less. And with that, we conclude our presentation. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope we provided some value. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. We have all these announcements all the time, similarly on Facebook. So any upcoming webinars, you will get notified. Thank you very much.